Hey, good morning, everybody. Charles Calhoun, aka the Shade Tree Pro. Here in my office. Going to talk about a few things, and this is going to be some important stuff that I'm going to talk about here. Now, I don't know. You can call it a podcast, or you can call it just getting in that ass. Because some truth got to be told about what's really happening. Now, I'm going to say some things, and I know people are going to be offended. But, sometimes, you got to step on some toes or whatever to get people's attention, to let them know that you're coming across. Now, I sent a message to one of these brothers that, and I mean, he's in good faith of what he's doing, as far as, with his golf ball company, Kenneth Duncan, with Renegade Golf Balls. And something that he often mentions when he's sitting around with these media types or something doing his thing, he's often mentioning that, being the first black company, to produce the golf ball or whatever. And I'm like, hell yeah, whatever, not a problem. And everybody's like, oh yeah, they're strong. Yeah, But then for some reason, when I mention, why is it that we don't have more black teachers out on the tour? Why aren't the black teachers represented, at the tour level in a sense? Why is it that the black teachers don't get an opportunity? Then it seems like everybody get offended. Like nobody really want to address that subject. They don't really want to push it. Then it's all of a sudden it's like, oh, you got to start with the little kids and build one up and build a player. Well, they're not doing it. They don't have to do it. They do it. But they also got plenty of them that goes from teacher to teacher to teacher. And essence, and a lot of these things, like I'm telling you right now, Chris Como. Why is Chris Como where he is today? Because he built all these junior players and built them up, got them off to college, did all of this and did all of that. And then all of a sudden, now he was able to teach at the highest level. Come on. Take Sean Foley for an example. I know Sean Foley's story. Sean Foley was over at Orange County National. He worked on his stuff, put his craft together. More power to him in that regard. But then he got an opportunity from Stephen Ames. So I still ask this question when it comes to Stephen Ames, who actually played some good golf. I asked the question is this: was it the fact that maybe Stephen Ames may have gotten a little bit complacent and wasn't putting the work in and saw himself, not really not really building on his game, but losing his game, and then all of a sudden he goes over and start working with Sean because of the Canada connection. He starts working with Sean. Was it really the knowledge that got him better, or was it simply because he went back to work? He was already a tour player. He started putting that work and effort back into it and started building on his game, getting his mind right, getting his body right, getting back to where he starts sweating and hitting balls instead of becoming, like I said, complacent in a sense. So those are just some examples that I'm giving you right there, So when you do that, next thing you know, you're teaching Tiger Woods or you're talking to Tiger Woods. Well, the thing is this, I ask this question because I'm only going to ask of me. I'm a black teacher and I have no problem talking about what it is that I'm capable of doing. But just because somebody sits in the background and don't think they're capable of doing it, that ain't got nothing to do with me. And in the same sense, if I'm saying that I can do this, then why is it that as black folks that we can be, oh, I'm the first black to do this or whatever? Why can't we start asking society, hey, you know what? Something we're not seeing, why can't we just start asking questions? But yet we so quick to criticize that we don't take the time to ask the questions, to say, hey, look, why is it not happening? What is the situation? I said to one of my guys, a white friend of mine, I used to play on tour, a good player. I said, man, look, don't ask me how. I already know how to do it. What I need you to do is start asking your tour friends, why don't you all, when y'all struggling like this, have a black teacher ever been an option for you? Have you ever thought about maybe just breaking the mold a little bit and go ask a brother to help you out? And I'm not talking about somebody that just go, hey, put your finger over here and do this. No, I'm talking about somebody that can really teach you mentally, physically, whatever. I mean, HNIC, and I didn't say the word, so nobody gonna get offended on that. But why? And that's the only question I'm asking is why? Why ain't nobody doing a story on that, and why? We do everything in the world about African American this, African American this, why African American this? Well, why is it that you're offended that I asked the question, why? Why is it that we do not get an opportunity? Why is it that we're not looking? And I can answer the question. I can answer the question. I'm not going to answer the question in a sense it's like, oh, they just don't like black people or nothing like that. Well, one of the simplest answers is this, because ain't nobody talking about it. Ain't nobody asking that question. And so when you don't ask that question, people become, I just want to say it, they become comfortable in their environment. And in the game of golf, the best way to play the game of golf, in a sense, is to be able to play comfortable in an uncomfortable situation. So that's the same thing that I'm saying. If we got considered as African Americans some of the best athletes in the world, and having some of the strongest minds having to deal with the things that we deal with in society, but then all of a sudden now when it comes to golf, we're not able to be able to, teach or figure something out. Y'all have seen videos of me talking about it, and I know another brothers out there who's teaching golf. They're not doing this. They're not talking like me. And the reason they're probably not talking like me, because they probably don't have the confidence to be able to do the things that I'm doing. I have no problem. And as I tell many people, and I've said to many people before, man, I got all the love in the world for the Butch Harmon. Man, I love to sit down and talk to Butch about stories on golf with Hogan and all that. Butch ain't getting no younger. I love to do that. I love that. Jim McClain, love Jim McClain. One of my favorite was Jim Flick, and all that, and I have talked with Jim Flick when he used to come up to Muirfield Village when he was working with Jack, when it was Nicholas Flick and all that. I had a few conversations with Jim Flick, about the golf swing and stuff, and had some good time. I enjoyed that conversation. He was very, very respectful, because I sound like somebody who was really asking questions, and it says, it's what I do. And that's how I learned. I listened first, now I can talk. Now I'm not in the listening stage. I'm in the teaching stage. I'm in there to ask some questions. I did the listening, and it's obvious there. I don't have no problem, getting down with these great teachers and having conversations and talking about it in a sense. That's just men being men. But my argument, and I'm saying, why is the Golf Channel afraid to deal with the Shade Tree Pro? I mean, I was good enough to be on the big break, but I ain't good enough to sit there and represent, African Americans in this game of golf as teachers on any of your channels or anything that you have there. Why? Because of my tone? I mean, have y'all realized who we got as the President of the United States? Whether you like him, love him, or whatever, that's irrelevant. But good God Almighty, I mean, come on, people, let's wake the fuck up. I mean, I'm just going to be honest. I'm sorry, but sometimes it comes out of my mouth. I got to say what I have to say, and I'm not apologetic about it, because the bottom line is, why are we not asking the questions? The questions is that, why is it? But I sit there and I watch these guys struggle day in and day out on things that just can be so simple to fix. But this mentality that if it ain't white, it ain't right. And I'm sorry I had to say that, but that's just the truth. Because it ain't because I'm making it up. It's because I'm watching it and I'm seeing it. And I see these people use the things that I talk about, and I see guys using the shit I talk about, teaching others with. Trust me, I do. But yet I'm not good enough or whatever to be able to teach them or show them. So what are we doing here? Show me a partnership, because there are partnerships out there in the golfing world, where you got people working together, teachers working together. Show me a partnership out there right now where you got somebody with an African-American teacher that has a partnership. Show me that. Show me any teacher, any players out there who has whether it's a short game coach or something of that nature, that ain't even the HNIC. Show me somebody out there who has it on the tour. Now, I sat there and I want people to watch me chip and hit balls and all this stuff. It's magical. There's no question. Because as I said, no one has a monopoly on knowledge. So now we need to start asking the questions, why? And especially to my bros, You know, if you're gonna sit here and we're gonna say, hey, I'm the first black to this, I'm the this, or whatever. Well, I'm the first black that wrote a book that tells you right there what the grip really is. And every time I have sent this book to teachers, every time, not one has been able to come back to me and give me a real review to say, hey, Shade Tree, you know what? This book sucks. Or Shade Tree, this book is this. And you know why? Here's one of the main reasons why. Because you better believe I'm going to use it to my advantage. That's what you're supposed to do. If somebody gives you a good comment on something, then you're supposed to expose it, talk about it, show it, let people see what it is. That's just smart business. I've had some of my biggest haters that got this book, and now they went silent on me. I've even mentioned it to other people. It's like, look, once you get this, then all of a sudden it changes everything. It changes, it creates so many serendipitous moments in the golf swing, it's ridiculous. But the world shouldn't be able to hear about that. We got to continue to struggle when I'm sitting here telling you, not only do I have answers, I can show you how those answers were discovered, understood, and found. You mean to tell me somebody like one of my guys hit me up and say, hey, Shade Tree, I just saw you on the big break, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, yeah, great time. A guy named Jeff hit me out for that. You know, I got some cool people that's there. But yet, in the same sense, nobody's want to talk about. The simple fact is, why do we not have African Americans teaching at the highest level? Why we're not looking at them as an option? Why is it? And because my thing is, if you got one, it needs to be exposed. It needs to show it so these young black kids, whether in Chicago, whether in the street, whether in the hood or whatever, they can see it. They can see the value of what teaching golf can do. And where it can get you, and how it can make you, achieve and receive all the blessings of whatever that golf can give you. But if you can't teach, you can't reach. Now that's just the bottom line to it. So I'm telling you, bros, or whatever, hey, listen, enough of that shit trying to attack me for me being strong about something that I see, when you're going to sit back and talk about what bros don't have. And then I'm telling you not only that what bros don't have, I'm telling you, what it is here that I got to offer. And if you don't have that, that's all right. You know what? Ain't nothing wrong with you getting on board and learning what Shade Tree got. Because the thing is this, when I step out, I'm stepping out with something. I'm offering something. I'm giving something. And as I said, and I'm going to be strong in what it is that I said. As I said before, I like to, if I've got to tell you that I'm going to challenge you, I'll challenge you. Like I said, the first thing I'm going to start here is with my Dead Fingers book. And if you get past my Dead Fingers book, then we got something to talk about. If you can explain why this works better than I can, then we got something to talk about. So as you want to talk, hey, I'm the first black this, whatever. Well, I'm the first black person that wrote a book on the golf grip that went above and beyond what has been taught, not just recently, but what has been taught in the history of the game. I gave you the reasons why, how, everything. Broke it down, and it's all in that book. And you can go right there and get that book. I haven't talked about that. So why ain't we talking about that? Now, we want to expose everything else. The only connection to the golf grip is our hands. And I'm giving you to this. Why haven't I not? I put a thing up there that I wanted to sell 100,000 copies of those. You know what bros did? Laughed. Why? Why are you laughing? I'm doing some real work. This shit is in print. I mean, it's page by page. It ain't opening up and it's all blank pages. It's laid out there. Why you laughing? Because I'm the first black to do that. If we're going to play that game, then let's play the game. Let's go all the way. Let's quit bullshitting and pussyfooting around. Let's go all the way. Let's dig in. Let's start asking the questions. I don't have no problem calling it out because I'm not afraid. Me talking here should tell you enough that I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to fail. You know what I mean? Because let me tell you what, I'd rather fail trying than having to hear sitting around on my thumbs just complaining. Because I'm not complaining. I'm telling you, I'm stating the facts. This ain't no complaint. This is stating the facts because it's reality. It would be a, excuse me, it would be a complaint if I'm sitting there and all these other cats are doing it in a sense, and I'm just mad because I'm not getting an opportunity, because the other brothers are doing it. Now that would be complaining, especially if I didn't have no substance. But when I put the work in and I'm done that, I'm in a position to ask questions. I don't care if it's the Golf Channel. I don't care if it's ESPN. I don't care if it's all these little media things that's out there. Well, somebody needs to start paying attention because, like I said, I'm getting ready to bring that fire. I'm getting ready to bring it because I know what I know, and it's some bullshit. If you ain't willing to put me to the test, then do not open your mouth and tell me what it is that I don't know. It was one of the best quotes that I've ever heard in my life, and I still love this to today. He said, and this guy said, take that top lip and smash it against that bottom lip, and if you ain't got nothing to say and you ain't got nothing to add, then shut the fuck up. I mean, I'm sorry if that's going to offend you, but that's just the facts. Because I'm not here to play games, people. There are people out there playing golf that is absolutely trying to do this for their livelihood. They are out there. They are dead serious. They are searching for real information. They are trying to get on Ryder Cups. They're trying to get on President's Cups. They're trying to get on Solheim Cups. They are trying to make a living. And we're bullshitting around in this industry as teachers. And I'll say it again. We're bullshitting around sitting here with this mindset that white is right. And it's not. Knowledge, nobody has a monopoly on knowledge. If we're going to do it the right way, then these reporters, these people out here, get off of your asses, get to doing your job, and start asking questions. Start asking why. Start asking this industry, why is it that we don't see black teachers, at the highest level? Why is it that we don't hire black teachers or that regard? Why is it that we don't sit down and have real conversations as white journalists or whatever with black teachers to give a view of the game? But yet we have no problem sitting around asking a Steph Curry or a Michael or some of these guys that just happen to be playing in celebrity events about the status of the game of golf. Them motherfuckers they just play golf. They don't live in golf. Start asking people who play golf, who do it for a living, who do shit like this or whatever. That's the conversations you have. Then you'll start getting real clicks. Not just a few things of a few guys. Stop asking those people in sports what about our sport, about what we do as black teachers in a sense. Their only job is to listen to us. I ain't gonna listen to them tell me what the golf swing is or isn't because they played with who or they sat down and had a conversation with Butch and then they can come back regurgitate some shit that they don't even know. I ain't got time for that. I'm a teacher, not a coach. I'm a teacher. And there's a difference between a coach and a teacher. A coach takes the information from a teacher and apply it to his students. A teacher creates the information for coaches to teach. That's just all it is. I'm a teacher, books and all. And so, yeah, I'm going to be adamant. I'm going to be hard. I know this has been long, but hey, you know what? Sometimes you got to spit it out and you got to tell it like it is. And you got to ask the question. I think that when it comes to the growth of the game of black golf, it's a simple way to grow it. And the only way you're truly going to grow it is that you have got to have the teachers and you've got to have the coaches. But the teacher is more important than the coaches because the teacher has to be able to supply that information, in essence, for the coaches to be able to expand that knowledge above and beyond. And there ain't no knowledge out there, and I'm going to tell you again, there ain't no knowledge out there that's better than that dead finger's grip. That's just the bottom line to it, and I put that on my mama, and I love her to death. Hey, this is Charles Calhoun, a.k.a. the Shade Tree Pro. Sorry, people, but hey, you know what? I've had enough. I told you I'm in sales mode. The work is done. Top down is done. I ain't sitting here trying to figure top down. Top down is done. Y'all have seen me hit golf ball. You see me chipping. You see me putting. You see top down is done. Now it's time to get to it and start asking the question. Because if ain't nobody else going to ask the question, then goddamn it, like what's his name said? 50 cents. He said a bottle of water may be worth $1 over here, then you move it over here, it's worth more. Well, I'm over here where the bottle of water is for $1. Now I'm getting ready to move over here where that bottle of water is worth 10 cents, because somebody got to tell me what I don't know. Charles Calhoun, aka the Shade Tree Pro. Yeah, here in my beautiful office, still getting it all set up, and you know how I do it, baby. Always good golfing.